Zen fam, let's talk about Ubisoft. Okay, now we all know from various videos I've done over the last 2-3 years that Ubisoft is not without its fair share of problems. You know, the mistreatment of minority groups within the company, the denial of union power, the monetization, the Ubification. There's a lot that can be said in the negative towards Ubisoft. We've all done it, we've all seen it, we've all watched the videos. Well, I've watched the videos. However, Ubisoft has also done some good stuff. They have made some great games with some great properties behind them. I mean, Prince of Persia, Assassin's Creed, Far Cry. You could also talk about The Division. You could talk about Watch Dogs, Beyond Good and Evil. But then you could also talk about Skull and Bones. You could talk about the endless monetization of what it should be a really great game if they would actually let it be a good game, Riders Republic. Because it's a wonderful game when it's doing its thing, but when it's not doing its thing and it's just all about buy all these skins, buy all these things so you can actually have fun with the game, they cut out the fun by adding in the money. And nobody has any money, so nobody's buying the vehicles and the costumes and stuff. So the community is stuck doing the same races with the same vehicles over and over and over again. Save for that lack of a few whales, of course. But what's really going on at the moment is Ubisoft is suffering a big problem. Because there's a turnover problem. People keep leaving the company because of things that happen in the company. Because games don't sell the way that they used to sell. One, because everybody's skinned. But there are other reasons that I shall get to. So people keep leaving Ubisoft, which means newer, younger, less experienced dev staff come in to fill those positions. And because they're newer, they've got less good contracts than the ones that are previously from before. This is a consistent thing in all of industry over the last 5-10 years, where the value of a contract by an employer given to an employee is not as good as it used to be. It's just part of how it is. I have seen it at my own work, and I'm sure you have too. So these people come in and they help build the games, but they don't have the experience that their predecessors have. Thus they have to rely on the work from before, so less innovation happens. Also, because they're less experienced, they don't work as quickly or as efficiently because they haven't learned how to yet. And because that happens, well then obviously the game suffers because it doesn't get the same love, care and attention that they would be hoping for to make it really truly something very special. And then you add into this whole mix that because they're new, they get pushed around by the company down into alleyways that do not help the artistic vision of the game or even the gameplay mechanics. Because nothing new gets made, there's a recycling of ideas and a recycling of concepts and a recycling of gameplay mechanics. Hence the Ubification that we all have heard so much about over these last few years. And then you get all the incels with their jawline exercises and their neck exercises because they think that like somehow having a big massive neck will attract a woman and they'll finally get to have sex. That's a whole other thing. I'm not even going to touch those guys. That's part of the problem, that nobody touches them. Anyway. So there's a lot of right-wing ideology springs up and grabs onto Ubisoft and pulls it into its conversational sphere so then it can talk about video games in a super reductive manner. And because so many younger people are into video games, they use that as a way to capture younger people and bring them into that conversation to turn the political landscape to their way of thinking and advance their causes. And that's insidious to say the least. Right? Because how many times have you heard about, oh, woke culture, gender neutral, gender bending ideologies, and woke. You know what woke is? Woke is a boogeyman. It's a scare word. It means, these days, next to nothing. It used to mean, alright, that you were awakened to the games that the state is playing on all of us, or that the mainstream media is playing on all of us. Woke used to mean I see through the rubbish. I see to the core of the issue. It's like snowflake. Snowflake used to be used in a completely different way to what it is now. When we used to at work, when I was a coffee monkey, we would talk about a snowflake customer. It'd be like, that'd be a customer that like melts at the slightest tiny little issue and can't handle the fact that their latte is not exactly the way they want it in their imagination, when there's only so many ways you can do certain things to certain drinks in certain situations. You can't have everything all at once. But people don't want to accept reality. People want to have their own internal reality and move forward with that. People have become really, really bad at just like accepting life for what life is. Which you can kind of understand because life is fairly poo these days. God. It's so rubbish because people go, oh, they put a black character in a Japanese set video game. And then you get a bunch of people going, but there was actually historical precedence for this particular black character to be around. And then they'll go like, oh, yeah, but they've made it all extra and stuff, and it's not really how it was, and yeah. Shall I clear something up for everybody right now? Okay? You're playing a video game, okay? The character is female. The character is male. The character is black. The character is white. The character is Chinese. The character is a purple cat from outer space. It doesn't matter. You know what does matter? You, the player. You, there with the controller in your hands, moving the narrative forward, having fun with the experience. That's what matters. The whole point of a video game, well, not the whole point, but one of the major points of a video game is to have fun, and for a wee while you're in that game, and the world doesn't have to exist for a wee while. It's an escape. Like books are an escape, movies are an escape, TV programs are an escape, reading the newspaper is an escape. Even reading Twitter, believe it or not, is an escape. Anything that takes you away from the hamster wheel of existence of work, sleep, eat is an escape. Talking to your pals, talking to your mum on the phone because you've not seen her in 3 weeks and you want to make sure she's alright is an escape. Humans often seek escape in myriad of fashions from their day-to-day grind, and video games just happen to be the coolest one. But you're making it less cool when you start to cherry pick how other people can enjoy their escape. and the types of escape they're allowed to enjoy. I mean, how ridiculous is this? I mean, we as gamers, for decades now, have been like, please don't belittle our hobby. This is the thing we love. That, you know, it's our thing. Please just let us game a video piece. And then you have other gamers who come along and go, you're gaming wrong. Stop having fun. And that's part of what's knackering Ubisoft right now. Because you've got people coming along going, you can't have this game because it's got this person in it. I mean, there's even like right-wing conspiracy theories right now. Oh, there's a shock. Okay, about Ubisoft Hex or Hexy or however it is you say it. I'm not sure right now. I'll have to look up that. Which is, get this, they're saying that because the witches in the game, and the game's heavily focused in on that therefore, because it's going to centre far more on female characters in the game, because female characters and witches and stuff are, you know, very, very closely linked. Yes, there are male witches, i.e. warlocks, but when people think witches, they think, you know, pointy hat, long nose, green tint to the skin, hoyle, toil, boil and trouble, Harry Potter, blah blah blah. Okay, that's what they're thinking when they're thinking witches. They're thinking a sort of Macbethian, you know, hag with a cauldron and a broom and spells and evil intentions. Okay? We have very sort of set ideas about a witch can and cannot be. There's been odd offshoots over the years, you know, Willow and Buffy, or Sabrina the Teenage Witch, stuff like that. But largely speaking, our culture, especially Western culture, has taken witches to be evil females with intent to destroy men. Oh, funny that! You know, a male-centric culture looking to demonise females in stories. Oh, I've never seen that before. See, I told you I was a big old lefty. No, but seriously, guys, okay? So now they've got these plots going around that says that it's going to be a lesbian fest and all male characters will be banned from video games and there will only be characters of ethnic backgrounds and female backgrounds and all male white characters will be scrubbed. First of all, I don't see that happening. Secondly, if there's a few less big massive white dudes with muscles the size of Bristol and a jawline that's wider than a semi-truck, fine. I could live with that. And if it's an online game with a create your own character mode, then it doesn't matter anyway, because you create your own character. So, we even got to a point now where people are even like, one of the things they're dissing about Star Wars Outlaws, it's not the fact that like the game's a bit simplistic or that every time KVS goes to another planet, she basically starts all over again. None of that, or even the fact that like, although the Star Wars setting is beautiful and it looks very, very super Star Warsy and so on and so forth, a lot of people say it only really gets Star Warsy right up to the very end, and that's when it actually really comes into itself. Well, that's called a story climax, ladies and gentlemen. But they're claiming that KVS is like this super ethnic neutral character, so nobody can get offended. You know, she's dark enough so she doesn't look white, but she's not dark, but she's light enough so she doesn't look black, she doesn't look Indian, she doesn't look Chinese, she doesn't look this. Let me clear something up for you right now. I'm clearing up a lot of things in this video today, but this is important, okay? KVS is a human character, okay? But a human that's not our human, not an Earth human, Okay, that's important. Earth is not involved in Star Wars. Star Wars, as you may remember from the opening crawl of the first movie, in a galaxy far, far away. Okay? A galaxy far, far away. I.e., not our pagan galaxy. Ergo, no Earth. Ergo, no Earth nations. Ergo, further, no Earth nations and their indigenous peoples therein. Okay? Now we've got that underlined. When John Boyega was there playing Finn in Star Wars, he wasn't a black guy from England. He wasn't an actor playing an American black guy. He wasn't an actor playing an African black guy or Caribbean black guy. He was just a darker skinned hue of human in the Star Wars universe. And the only thing that we could say for certain that sets the humans apart from the humans in Star Wars to the humans on Earth, apart from the fact of countries and religions and national identities, is the humans in Star Wars are possibly born with maybe the ability to hopefully be able to use and sense and control the Force. That's it. Humans in that universe can possibly, maybe, be Force users. That's it. It is a made up world. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of alien species that have appeared on screen, even more in the books, and Lord knows how many others floating around in the mind of George Lucas or anybody else that's come up with any kind of Star Wars story. There are aliens akimbo throughout science fiction, and especially in Star Wars. So Star Wars has always enjoyed a wide variety of alien species, and not all of them bipedal humanoids. Okay, there's like a billion different types of creature feature design in Star Wars. Now admittedly I'm a Star Trek guy, but I have a strong appreciation for Star Wars, and I can see this as a Star Trek person, that Star Wars has that wonderful diversification of aliens, and the humans that are there are a small part of it. The humans in the Star Wars story are only there so we have a certain level of relatability to understand the story, and have a lot of the humans help move the story forward. But who's one of the most famous characters in all of Star Wars that's been a central pivot point? I can name two off the top of my head right now who are not humans but are massive to the Star Wars story narrative. Yoda, hello. Chewbacca, even more hello. Those guys know you don't see them walking in Prince Street, do you? Because they're not humans, are they? No. Alright? So you can take your whole fake woke ideology and get it punted. Because it's not real. It's fantasies made up by the hard right to pull in the centre people, turn them hard right, so then they can have more people on their side, and then they can start to fill their heads with more and more and more nasty stuff to make life worse for the people who are just in the middle. Most people you'll meet in day-to-day life, they're not left, they're not right, they're just people just trying to make it happen. Most people out there in the world, and you're probably among them out there in the Zenfam, you don't care about left or right politics. You mostly care that you've got a roof over your head, you've got food in your stomach, and you're able to make payments to your cell phone plan. and probably your cable telly subscription. That's what you're mostly caring about. You're caring about the day-to-day, getting it done, and hopefully, maybe someday, you might get to retire from work and hopefully be able to live with a certain level of dignity. That's all most people really give a toss about. And if they can play some video games in the meantime and actually have some fun, then that's a cherry on the top of the life cake for a lot of people. So yeah, okay, Ubisoft has made some stupid decisions. But if they can give them half a chance to sort themselves out, make some good games, and not feel pressured into having to live up to the woke stuff so then it's not so prevalent, and not feel pressured to go too far to the right to please that level of the audience, stay in a middle space where we can just like go, hey, here's a fun story, here's some fun characters, go have some fun. We can take the pressure off video game companies and corporate entities so they don't feel like they always have to produce these types of products. Then maybe, just maybe, they'll actually go ahead and just make some fun video games. And isn't that what we want? Isn't that what we as gamers crave? To put in a video game and have some fun. So let video gamers game, let video game creators create, and let those incel crazy people be incel crazy people and leave us the rest alone. Ubisoft, but seriously guys, okay, bring back Watch Dogs. Just pull the plug, scrap Sea of Thieves or Skullbones or whatever it's called. I'm getting my mindless ship games mixed up. And just get back to having fun. In fact, if anything, maybe even sell yourselves to Sony. Okay guys, obviously I'd love your comments down below, so typey, let Zenblock know what you think. And I will, hashtag support Scottish YouTubers, of course, as always. Aye, nae bother.